Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan from Amazon, Season 1, Episode 5. It is called End of Honor, so full spoilers for the episode, as always. What are you giving me that look for?
You know what?
So, this is Episode 5. We ended Episode 4 with the actual attack, the chemical attack in the church. So we start this one with them, coming into the building and checking the bodies. I did like the touch that a lot of their phones were buzzing.
Yeah. People had seen it on the news and were phoning to see if they were
Yeah,
okay.
because it made a lot of sense. Like everyone would be trying to contact, if they thought they were there, they'd be trying to contact them. So it added an extra haunting element. So I'll commend that first scene quite a bit because that was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
Um, but the video game came back this episode.
It did, but
So did Victor. So there was things to
you
be
know,
concerned about.
remove the Victor scenes, and this is easily the best episode.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, hands down.
Okay, I wasn't feeling the flashbacks as much.
I think they did a lot to flesh out Suleiman and make him not just evil.
No, I get that. I feel like they skipped over the interesting part though. Because in the flashbacks, okay, we see he goes for a job, he's kind of turned down, and then he gets that feeling that he's turned down as soon as they see him and they see his name, right? So it's just biased. That's it. He's already off the table,
Mm.
right? That's fine. We see him get arrested when you're away to prison, and then the next flashback we get, he's already like, he's seen his brother, visit him in prison, and he's like, oh, I feel included and important now. I know my purpose, and I'm like, I feel like him going through the journey of discovering that purpose is probably the important part of that story, and we kind of cut over it.
I disagree. I think the almost the mystique of what exactly was said to him, what actually happened inside. The idea that, oh no, this is in prison. It's away from society. It happened where other people aren't seeing this. Works for me.
I was fine with that before we had these flashbacks. Now that they specifically cut around it and showed us things on either side, it felt a bit weird to me. It felt like we skipped over the actual
Yeah,
progression part.
it worked for me.
So it felt odd. It felt like it was dancing around, and I guess they don't want to be specific and say, "Oh, this is what makes a
Yeah,
terrorist." But
yeah,
uh, but at the same time, it's not like it's been shying away from that throughout the show because we've had bombs in Syria. That's what kind of started this whole thing. And
Lebanon, but yes, but that
Lebanon.
was the
You're
opening.
right. Yeah, it was Lebanon at the start. Yeah, yeah. They're in Syria now though.
Yes.
But so it's not like it's been shying away up until now. It felt weird. I felt like it was oddly dodging that, but um. As per usual, I'm kind of like, there's things I like, there's things I dislike. There's um, Jack feeling responsible. I kind of like because they were
Yeah.
trying to stop him, and he actually killed the brother, Ali, and he could have maybe tried something different, but he was caught in the moment. So he felt responsible, and Greer, wire name, all right? It's going to slip out once in a while. Greer tells him a story about this guy who worked at the airport who felt responsible for 9/11 because he got kind of suspicious about something, but it was nothing he could really say or do anything about, right?
Yeah, some scuffed shoes, but they were
Yeah,
first class.
yeah, it was something that didn't quite add up, but there wasn't really like what's it going to do? Because if anything, it would just look racist, right? If it was like, oh no, they've got scummy shoes in the Middle Eastern, therefore check them out, right? That's how it would come across. But he felt guilty in hindsight because it actually led to something.
Yeah,
So similarly, he's telling Jack, "No, you can't feel responsible for this. You've been trying your best to stop it, and they got one attack through." Um, and then Suleiman goes kind of public, and it kind of like, okay, he makes this big claim. We see it's gone global. We see it on the TV screens around the world, Times Square. Um, minor. This is just a minor complaint. Was it just me, or was the scenes in Tokyo and Times Square feeling really bright to you?
um, I don't know. I didn't notice it particularly.
It felt unnaturally bright to me, or like in contrast with the other scenes in the episode. And I don't know if it was something to do with like, because obviously they were just like putting these videos on top of it. I'm wondering if it was something to do with making them blend in. They had to brighten everything up or whatever. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I just have to say, I watched this yesterday when I was not
Hmm.
feeling the best. I was pretty ill, so maybe I just didn't really notice that.
It was that thing when it first cut to Tokyo. Well, I'm assuming it was Tokyo. I don't know the layout of Tokyo well enough to specifically say Tokyo, but it was Japan, and it was that thing where it was so bright instantly that I went, oh jeez, my eyes, like the contrast difference from the previous scene was like, jeez, which maybe that's all it is. Maybe it's just that I was in a really dull scene before that, and it felt really
Could
bright.
be, yeah.
But it took me aback. But yeah, so he goes worldwide, and okay, right, so now it's public, now everyone knows about it, and now it's a household name. Everyone knows who this is, which ties in nicely to Haneen's plot when she kind of stumbles into it and sees it in the news, and it's like, oh shit, this is what he was up to, and that gets us into that plot in a little bit. But yeah, so Jack's whole thing, this we'll take it by character plot. Jack's whole thing this episode is that he comes up with this plan because they don't know his brother's dead, to use the video game to talk to them and see if they can lure some of them into a trap. And we know that specifically it's the three who actually committed the attack who would be going to get him.
Yes.
So they try to lure him in, but they're smart enough. It was funny because at one point, the tech guy with Suleiman's like, "Oh, I'll track the IP address to make sure it's really him." And I went, "They better have thought of this at the CIA, because this is the obvious thing to check. They better have thought of this."
But they did immediately. Yeah, it's fine. We got this.
Yeah, but I was like, see if that worked, and they caught them out because they weren't masking their IP address. I was going to be upset with this show.
No, that's true. But in general, I really love this scene.
Oh no, I like the scene. When I'm complaining about the video game, there was a moment earlier on in the conference room when they're having the big meeting, and Jack looks over at the screen and he sees the video game, and I thought what it was going to do, because there was a picture of the map and then a picture of the video game map, and I thought it was going to figure out the next target based on the video game, and I was about to lose my shit. I was like, no, piss off, don't do this. Because it was the way they were side by side, and then he's like, "Oh, we'll use it to like try and trick him and lure him." I was like, "Okay, all right." Because the actual
perfectly solid plan.
No, the actual scene itself when they're talking to him is probably my favorite scene of the episode. It's really well done, especially since when Suleiman starts testing him, he's like, "Okay, what was the color of this building in Paris?" And of course, they quickly get Google Earth up.
Going, quick.
Yeah.
Do you know what my biggest problem with this scene is? Is why is Jack the one on the computer?
Yeah, because he's our main character.
I get that it was his idea.
Yes.
Right, and I get he's unofficially in charge at the moment because he's having all the breakthrough ideas and has been onto this since the start. But do they not have someone intention? Okay, no, you're a communicators.
Not only that. At one point when they've been made and they're like, "Oh, shut it down now," Jack says no, and so does Greer, and I'm like, all these officials who are outrank these two around the table, not one of them says, "No, this is an order, shut this down now." They just keep going.
Yeah.
There's like the chain of command just goes out the window during this scene. It's very TV. It's a very TV scene.
It is. The moment that got me as well is when it's the final test, and some of the thing says, "Peace be with you, brother." And he's like, "Right, okay, what do we say?" And no one said anything. He just goes, he just types. I'm like, shouldn't you check with the room first?
No one
what
suggests anything. No one asks what he's typing. He just does it, and they just trust him. It's weird. Now, obviously, as soon as he said that, I'm like, okay, we should know the answer to this, because I'm sure they've said this to each other in the flashbacks or in previous episodes.
I'm certain they have.
I couldn't remember it, but I knew we'd heard it. And he says, "You're not your brother." What I wanted to commend though about this is as cheesy and as hokey as it is, and the whole show's been that, so I don't think you can really necessarily point this scene out specifically for it. But as cheesy as the show can be, and as hokey TV rules as it can be, I was actually very impressed with the exchange that kind of ended this, because Suleiman, he's like, "Oh, he's like, you know who I am. We met, blah blah blah," and he's like, "Oh, you're the analyst," and the other guy's like, "He knows who you are, shit," right? And then he's like, "I'm going to find you," and I was like, "Okay." We've been playing the whole thing where now he's personally in danger. He's going to be a target. But then I actually loved his response. He took a hunch based on one bit of information he got earlier in this episode, which is that Haneen did go to an American, consulate or whatever you'd call him, at the camp in Turkey, and tried to say that she was his husband. And then when she was questioned and realised that they might just bomb him and that'll hurt her son, she's like, "No, I can't do this," and she leaves. But because this get back to him and he knew her first name, he just took a hunch and he says, "Not before I find Haneen. I know she left you."
Worth a shot, right?
Yeah, but it works. And for all the bullshit this show's pulled, and for some of the hokiness in this very scene, that line and Suleiman's reaction and that working played as I'd expect it to. It worked.
Yeah, and him just saying, "Okay, no, that it's true," because if it wasn't, he'd have just denied it.
Yeah, he just pulls a cable. That's it. He's done.
Yeah.
So I like that part of it. I really like that part of the scene.
I liked the direction this conversation went in general, because there was the point where once he'd been made, Suleiman asks, is my brother dead? And he just types back yes, and everyone in the room's like going, "Hey, come on, don't say that." And because the obvious thing is say no, pretend we've got him hostage, right?
Mm.
When we can draw him out with that, and he kind of just cuts through that bullshit and goes through it quite bluntly, and I appreciate that.
Well, do you want to know what that is? That actually helps his final point. That makes Suleiman more convinced that the line about Haneen's true, because he's honest about his brother.
Yeah.
So, the race is on. The hunt is on to find Haneen, who, as we see in her plot, because I like that she goes to the American. She tries to play that card, because as soon as she sees that on TV, I'm like, yeah, you've got a first class ticket now with your kids. Just offer them intel. They'll come and protect you and take you away. And
she gives a fake name before, before she's even seen that this has happened yet.
Yeah, she just doesn't want to be tracked at this point. It's not because she's trying to hide the fact that her husband's, the terrorist.
Right, and obviously you could see the kids going like, "Hey, why are you giving them that name?"
Yeah,
as
that's
soon
not
as
her
she
name.
does. Yeah.
But we see that she's been smuggled out. But here's where something I don't like. At the end of the episode, I have to call bullshit in this. Yazid, who was hit by the drone 2 episodes ago, point blank, might I add, has got some scarring on his face, but he's alive.
Yeah, that one is kind of bullshitty.
And like I say, hokey TV rules, and it's funny. I guess you're saying if you're okay with some of the other hokey TV stuff, why does this one bother you? Because it is just straight up hokey TV nonsense, and I'm like, yeah, it is. But I guess this one just feels a bit more like he get hit in the face with a drone.
It feels more egregious when we watch the missile hit him.
The drone itself did not hit him. I should clarify what I'm saying. Although that'd be a funny scene. Funnier. Yeah, that'd be a funnier scene if the drone itself actually came down to hit him.
Just dive bomb the drone into him.
Suicide drones. That's the future. But no, he get bombed right in the face, and I'm like, he's like, I mean, if you want to tell me he's like a vegetable on like a hospital bed, like barely surviving on like machines, okay, maybe. I'll let you away with that, but
yeah,
he should be cleaned up with a sponge with that hit.
Yeah, I'm with you, because she was running away and was still, in the impact zone.
Yeah, she was thrown from the blast. That's how big the blast was.
And I mean, how shit is Victor Zane? I think he owes $1 back.
Oh yeah, just on that point, Victor's got his own plot again. We're back to Victor. I was not delighted by this. He's moping around because of the guy he killed, the one with the son, who then turns out was an incorrect target and was not the target at all, and should not have been killed.
Yeah. Also, the woman's a pretty bad actress.
Oh yeah, he's wingman.
Yeah. I never really noticed it in the last episode with them because she didn't really do much.
I think she's fine
with them in the diner.
Oh yeah, she's fine sitting there just doing the sort of the one-liners and the
just do the job.
Take the shot, do this, asshole. Here's your $1. Like those simple lines she's fine with, but when she actually had to do like emotion in the scene in the diner, which to be fair, he's not that great either, to be honest, in that scene.
No, he's not. But I feel like we complained about him already last time.
Sure, but that diner scene is the worst scene of the episode.
Hands down, yeah.
Yeah, no question. It's really bad. But so I mean, obviously we've got him soul searching, and he's off work for a couple of weeks. Who knows what he's going to do in that time? I don't know. I'm sure we'll see. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I wish we didn't have to.
That kind of sucks. There was a small scene with Jack and Kathy. Kathy wanted to keep things casual. I don't really have anything to say about this beyond just he doesn't
standard TV stuff.
Yeah, he won't want to keep it casual, and he'll finally admit that maybe by the end of the season or next season or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah, it's fine. It's nothing particularly good. It's not bad though.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I just see the TV trope in the screen when I'm watching the scene rather than really enjoying the scene.
Yeah, it was very standard, but it only took up maybe 2 minutes of the episodes. It's hard to complain.
Suleiman, like we say, had a lot of flashbacks. He also had some present day stuff, of course. I felt they were going a bit too far with the intense stare after each flashback. Every time it cut back to him, as if he was thinking about that moment. And that's a very typical thing to do with a flashback, but it was every time it was like,
That's fair.
and then cut. Like it was always like a good like 5 or so seconds of just intense stare after every flashback. But yeah, so we see that he wants to be kind to the hostages. He's asking them, okay, what do you need? Your health's poor. Do you need supplies? Do you need this, that? And the doctor offers to look at his son, who's diabetic.
He seems pretty reasonable here, all things considered.
Yeah. That said, what's the intentions? What's the end game with these?
That's the question, right? Because as it's very clear, it's nothing to do with money.
Yeah, and also, I mean, even if he's nice to his hostages, he did arrange an acid attack or a gas attack that wiped out 300 people.
Yeah, I'm not defending the man. I'm saying he seems civil enough here.
Oh, he's civil. Yes, okay, he's civil. Yes.
Yeah, he's still holding them hostage, but
yes.
you know, he's not being an absolute dick about it.
That makes it okay.
As much as one can be when holding someone's hostage.
This is like some weird, like, secondhand Stockholm syndrome you're getting right now.
I'm just saying, there's holding them hostage and torturing them. There's holding them hostage. You know, that's like pretty low. There's holding them hostage and just, you know, giving them the bare minimum to survive, which is still, you know, pretty low. And then there's, all right, well, you're a hostage, but you're at least going to be fed.
Yeah, but to what extent is this for? Is this because is this out of civility? Is this out of, oh, the happier they are as a hostage, the less they'll try while we're keeping them hostage until we do what we need to do with them. You know,
well be, yeah.
You know, there's a variety of reasons why he might be doing this, and it might be a bit more nefarious.
It could, yeah.
But of course, the doctor reaching out about his son. Obviously, he's a doctor. I think he means it intentionally, but I think there is like not a bad ulterior motive, but an ulterior motive of, hey, you'll see me as more of a human being if I help your son.
Yeah. Also, just I'm a useful resource.
Oh sure, yeah, just a straight up bargaining, yeah.
Like you don't want to kill us because we can help. But
yeah.
But like you say, he is a doctor. It's a kid. He's not heartless. He's not going, oh yeah, this kid's evil. He's like, no, it's a kid who's got diabetes. I should probably help.
Yeah, it's two birds, one stone. He gets the potential bond with the hostage taker, but he also does the right thing because he's presumably that type of person. But yeah, so that was there anything else I've missed? Anything else that I've glossed over? Did you want to talk more about the Haneen scenes where she's bargaining to get out of the?
I thought they were interesting in how genuine she tried to be with okay, I've only got this much gold, and the dude believed her. Like she was convincing that he was like, look, I appreciate what you're offering here, but it's not enough. Come back when you've got more.
Yeah, and she actually has the more, and obviously you get that she's probably obviously saving that because she assumes she'll need more money when she gets to wherever she's going. But
yeah, but she's desperate and she does it. But like I said, I think she's the character's a better actress than I would have assumed, in that she convinces that guy that is genuinely all she has. And us too, because we realised that okay, no, she has all this if needs be. So
yeah, we end the episode with all these plots kind of converging, where now after that the showdown over the video game chat, they're coming for Haneen. They want to grab her. But of course Haneen is now left illegally on this truck to sneak in somewhere, and Yazid's also chasing her down and spreading her picture around. So all these things are happening all at the same time. So there's a bit of a chase on now for the final 3 episodes, which is weird. It was only 8 episodes, so we're already over halfway. But
yeah, I would say the only other interesting thing as well is Suleiman still doesn't know about his brother, like what's going on there, like early on, right? And I think it's really interesting how he's like, no, we do nothing until we find him. Obviously, by the end, it's different.
Oh sure. I was going to say that we talking about. He did find out.
No. Earlier on in the episode, when he's talking to the guy, he's like, okay, do we have any news? And it's like, and they're getting impatient. They're like, we need to move, and he's like, no, nothing until we get word, until he's back here. And I thought it was quite interesting just how far he's willing to go for that. I think it helps sell the emotion even more when we get to the end with the chat.
And as Jack points out, this is his only family, and it's been his only family since he was a kid.
Did we know before this that he was raised in France? After
yeah, I think we got that sense that both of them grew up in France after that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was nice just to see some of that. I
Yeah.
think just to get some of that reality of just how normal it was for them.
I'll give them credit because they set those scenes in 2001, and I thought there was going to be like a tie-in to 9/11 at some point.
I
Not in
did
the
too.
yeah, not in that they were anyway connected to it, just in the sense that they were looked at differently by people around them because 9/11 just happened, and maybe that's implied that it's after
I
that
think
date.
I think I think so. But I mean, the weather seems nice enough.
Yeah, it looks like summer, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. So, but they never did. So if it's there, if you want to read into it and say that did take place after 9/11, and that's why the prejudice is so high, then you can read that into it. But
I
they
would
don't
say
point it out.
maybe not the first scene in for the job interview.
Hmm.
I think that's probably before. The scene after with the police. I think maybe that's after. That's why they kind of find an
Hmm.
excuse.
But the the scene with the job interview though I thought was interesting. Just they actually set up that he had an education and an interest in digital banking. Like that's why this whole setup they've got about these SIM cards, like it makes sense that he would work that system out because he was actually educated in this type of thing.
Yeah, it's coming in nicely, and it makes him a really nice foil for Jack being the analyst, right?
Yeah, but yeah, he's basically the evil Jack Ryan because he's like an
When he's
economist.
like, "Oh no, we're doing this through the money." Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and I do appreciate that.
He's some would say he's the reverse. So that is that is episode 5 of Jack Ryan. So I had some problems. I wasn't super into the flashbacks. You liked them more, and a couple of hokey TV sort of moments and setups that were a little bit rough
I've
for
kind
me.
of accepted that's just part of the show, though. At this point,
Yeah, yeah. I guess that's kind of fair. I guess that's kind of fair. Yazid being alive though. I mean,
yeah, that might take the cake, but I'd still take that over any of Victor's shite.
hey, they could reveal Yazid's actually superhuman. He's been put back together in a lab. Scientists have built him up again. Go full schlock. Do it.
Hey, they did it in Archer, so let's do it here. Why not?
But that's it, right? Episode 5. We will be back with episode 6 later in the week. Apologies, this one was a bigger gap from episode 4. Some scheduling got in the way, but here we are. So that is us. Let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv, and you can support us over there and keep all the reviews coming and all the other stuff we do. But that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?